Well, it was another super chill weekend with the President of the United States retweeting a deranged conspiracy theory accusing a previous president of murder. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Donald Trump has changed many things in his life, but there are a few constants. He's always been a racist, he's always been a con artist, and he's always been a conspiracy theorist. Trump has paranoid fantasies about everything from climate change to government surveillance to the food he eats. According to the book Fire and Fury, he had a longtime fear of being poisoned. One reason why he liked to eat at McDonald's, nobody knew he was coming and the food was safely pre-made. Okay, first of all, at this point, I think they know you're coming. You are the norm of McDonald's. If you want to catch a restaurant off guard, walk into a Just Salad. Also, really hammers home how anti-science our president is that he eats fast food to avoid being poisoned. My body is a temple. 2 fillet of fish, please. During a 2016 town hall on CNN, Trump basically admitted it to Anderson Cooper.
I'm a person that I like cleanliness, I like clean. And the one thing about the big franchises, you have to have a certain, because of the importance. One bad hamburger, you can destroy McDonald's. One bad hamburger, you take Wendy's and all these other places, and they're out of business. You can't do it. So I'm a very clean person. I like cleanliness. And I think you're better off going there than maybe someplace that you have no idea where the food's coming from.
First of all, I would not call you a very clean person. The only clean thing about you is your desk, and that's because you don't do anything. I mean, look at that. Look at that right there. That looks like a Hollywood tour where they let you take a photo on the set of The West Wing. There's not a single piece of paper on that desk. When the next president moves in, all they're gonna find are the water rings left by his Diet Cokes. Also, you only think McDonald's are clean because you send other people to pick up the food. You base your opinion of McDonald's on the commercials. Here's the money, and remember, only take food directly from the clown. He's the only one I trust. Of course, Trump launched his political career by fabricating a racist conspiracy theory about President Obama's birthplace. And it wasn't just that Trump accused Obama of being born in Kenya. He also invented an insane fantasy where Obama had fake documents. And at one point, he even claimed his own investigators were discovering evidence that proved Obama was hiding the truth.
3 weeks ago when I started, I thought he was probably born in this country. And now I really have a much bigger doubt than I did before. He doesn't have a birth certificate, or he hasn't shown it. He has what's called a certificate of live birth. That is something that's easy to get. When you want a birth certificate, it's very hard to get.
But it's considered the equivalent. And in the
it's not the equivalent.
In the state of Hawaii, they said they have seen this document. It is evidence that he was...
I saw his. I read it very carefully. Doesn't have a serial number, doesn't have a signature. There's not even a signature.
The biggest lie in that interview was Trump saying Obama didn't have a birth certificate. The second biggest lie was Trump saying he read something carefully. I'd be shocked if he could make it through something as long as a birth certificate. To help him fall asleep at night, he probably reads a business card. Oh, they also have facts. Anyway, continue with your bull.
I have people that actually have been studying it, and they cannot believe what they're finding.
You have people now down there searching, in Hawaii?
Absolutely, and they cannot believe what they're finding.
He said that 8 years ago, and he's never once explained what they were finding, and the reason is because there were no investigators searching for documents in Hawaii. If he did send anyone down there, it was probably his 2 weird sons. You can't believe what we're finding, Dad! Their rocks have juice in them! Did you tell him about the juice rocks? I'm telling him right now! Trump even went so far as to claim that the contemporaneous newspaper accounts of Obama's birth in local Hawaii newspapers had been faked.
There were 2 announcements the week he was born in both Honolulu newspapers saying that he was born, okay? That is impossible to make happen if he had not been born in the hospital. So I just dismissed it. But you made a big deal out of it.
Bill, I grew up with Wall Street geniuses. What they do in terms of fraud and how they change documents. And I'll tell you something, if you notice, those dates were 3 days later. And here's what I ask people. Who puts announcements? Here are 2 poor people, a man and a woman with no money. They have a baby. There's announcements in the newspaper.
The grandparents did it.
The grandparents. Nelson Rockefeller doesn't put announcements.
Sure, there are birth
did you ever
announcements
hear?
all the time.
I've never seen one.
Really?
No,
No,
I've never
they're
seen
common.
one. I've never seen one.
Maybe you've never seen one because your parents never did one for you. If anything, they probably took out an ad that said Donald Trump was born. We're sorry. Then of course, there's the racist conspiracy theory that Trump has repeated since he was elected, that millions of undocumented immigrants are voting illegally in states like California. In fact, he just repeated it last month in a speech to a group of young conservatives, and it barely registered as a blip on the news because we're so numb to it now.
And then those illegals get out and vote because they vote anyway. Don't kid yourself. Those numbers in California and numerous other states, they're rigged. You got people voting that shouldn't be voting. They vote many times, not just twice, not just 3 times. They vote, it's like a circle. They come back, they put a new hat on. They come back, they put a new shirt on. And in many cases, they don't even do that. You know what's going on.
I love the moment where he's like, oh, what's the word for this? Oh, I know there's a big, I'm gonna fall back on circle. Trump's always been an unhinged conspiracy theorist, and we saw that on display yet again this weekend when he retweeted an insane conspiracy theory tying the Clintons to the death of convicted pedophile and accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein.
We begin this morning with a retweet from the President of the United States, not a message about healing or uniting the country 1 week after 2 horrifying massacres, not about the victims of those tragedies. Instead, President Trump, using his massive Twitter platform, 63 million followers, to spread a deranged conspiracy theory tying the death of pedophile Jeffrey Epstein in prison to the president's former political rivals, the Clintons. I'm not going to show you the tweet.
Think about that. The president's tweets are so insane, the news can't even show them now. It's getting to the point where when he talks to reporters, they're going to have to blur out his entire face. They're going to have to treat him like accidental nudity. We elected President Nip Slip. Trump's penchant for peddling insane conspiracy theories isn't just a weird personality quirk. It has real consequences for real people. For example, he's repeatedly given voice to the racist and anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that Democrats and the Jewish philanthropist George Soros are somehow funding a plot to have refugees invade the United States by organizing caravans of migrants.
The Democrats want caravans. They like the caravans. A lot of people say, I wonder who started that caravan. Do you know how the caravan started? Does everybody know what this means? I think the Democrats had something to do with it.
Do you think somebody's funding a caravan? Do you think anybody's paying for the caravan?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be
George
surprised.
Soros?
I wouldn't. I don't know who, but I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people say yes.
I don't know who, but a lot of people say yes. He always tries to do this move where he pretends he doesn't know anything, but a lot of people are saying it. I'm starting to think these people are just other Trump personalities. Golf Trump says it's the Democrats. Sweaty Trump says it's Soros. And empty desk Trump says, cheese! Of course, Trump's not alone in peddling this racist paranoia. The right-wing media outlets he loves and echoes constantly repeat deranged theories about invading refugees, the same language used by white supremacists. In fact, multiple Fox hosts have defended the president's use of the word invasion to describe desperate refugees seeking asylum, including Fox host Jeanine Pirro, who used a very bizarre analogy on her show Saturday night.
Stop blaming the president for this stuff. Even the guy said, I'd be for President Trump. I didn't like the people coming in. So let's stop blaming
that rhetoric.
Trump.
That's what makes it dangerous.
Oh, come on.
We all use the same language. We speak English. So what?
I don't call
Lisa
illegal
Booth,
immigrants
Jonathan
invaders.
Harris. Yeah, well, a lot of people do. You know, I watch cartoons. They have invaders, too. I mean, you know, from Mars. Well, stop with this craziness.
You can't say stop with the craziness right after you say, I watch cartoons and they have invaders from Mars. That is as jarring as hearing a dog scream, no pets allowed. By the way, the same weekend Trump retweeted his deranged Epstein theory, he was in the Hamptons for a series of fundraisers where tickets ran as high as $250,000, which sums up so much of our politics right now. A paranoid president spreading unhinged racist conspiracies while raking in millions from a crowd of mega-rich supporters who don't care as long as they can line their own pockets. Meanwhile, most sane people are saying,
Stop with this craziness.
This has been A Closer Look.